You guys clearly like it when I rank stuff on this channel, so let's rank something today. But what? I've already done chase themes. How about the very thing you play on in Forsaken? Let's rank maps. Yeah, and tier list sucks, so we're gonna go straight from worst to best here. I will rank all 11 maps in Roblox Forsaken based on how fun they are to play on as a survivor, how fun they are to play on as a killer, and how balanced they are. Meaning if the maps favor a certain side more than the other, it will hurt its ranking. But without further ado, let's start from the very bottom at number 11. Taking the bottom spot and becoming my least favorite map in all Forsaken is definitely Glass Houses. Glass Houses has multiple big issues that just can't be ignored. The big thing to talk about here is how survivor-sided this map is. There's lots of different elevations making some killers struggle really hard, as well as there being many obstacles. The kill experience on this map is absolutely horrendous if there's more than 2 competent players in the lobby. Because of the darkness of the map and my notoriously dark monitor, I found myself losing survivors and chases really easily in the back of the map. The survivor experience is super easy and boring, it's basically a free win. If you start LMS at the top of the cliff on this map, you literally cannot lose. Just below the bottom, we have Pirate Bay. This map is really annoying to play as both sides, I can't lie. As Survivor, the killer can catch you off guard really easily at most generator locations and kill you easily. If you're the killer and the survivor can see you coming, prepare to get looped around the whole map for like 2 minutes. I feel like the killer gameplay relies way too much on using the killer-only pathways to jump survivors, which doesn't really feel that fun. There are 2 different elevations on the map, making it pretty annoying to play 1x or Cool Kid. I think this map leans more towards the survivor in terms of balancing, but not as noticeable as some of the other maps in the list. The Tempest is kinda just the epitome of being mid. There really isn't anything special going on for it, it's sorta bland. This is probably one of the only killer-sided maps in the game, so I guess it's cool that you kinda have to lock in as a survivor to win, but that's not really helping out too much in the final rankings. This map is also pretty small, and I dislike how close together the generators spawn. I do like the temple quite a bit though, but that's about it. Starting the chain of maps that start to get out of the bad and mid tier, we got some good maps, and the first one is Planet Voss. The recent rework definitely saved this map. It used to be really hard to play as survivor and too easy as killer, but now the map is a lot more interesting to play as survivor and killer alike. The new areas and obstacles I think are good for the most part. The only 2 bad things I have to say is that it's really difficult to win against competent survivors here, and there are a few questionable generator locations. Other than that, pretty solid map. Work at a pizza place is taking the number 7 spot. First of all, let me say that the music on this map is an absolute banger plead remix, but let's talk about the actual gameplay. The map seems generally balanced, except for maybe the pizza place looping spot, but if that got tweaked, this would be pretty darn close to perfect balancing. I don't necessarily like the random walls in some areas, they feel a bit excessive and annoying. Most of the generator locations are fine, but I feel like most of them are a bit too risky. I'm specifically talking about the one in the middle in the dining area, and the White House in the back. If you get caught lacking on those 2 spots as survivor, it's basically GG's. Pretty good map though, let's continue. Sitting comfortably in the number 6 spot is Brandon Workplace. I actually think this map is really well done. The generator locations are all solid, and the obstacles aren't too annoying, and the structures are fun to go on, but the big issue that holds this map back is the fact that the survivors are still cooking the killer easily here. The castle in the back is just so frustrating to play against as killer because there will always be competent sentinels loop camping there. If you can deal with that, then the rest of the gameplay here as killer is pretty much smooth sailing until last man standing, where the castle will definitely be the place where the survivor will be at. Still winnable if you play your cards right, but a lot harder of an LMS win to pull off as the killer. Horror Hotel may have actually been my favorite map until I took part in a YouTuber named Memefile's 1v1 video and made the mistake of running Horror Hotel as my map. I proceeded to get looped around the ball pit and cooked for 1 minute and 45 seconds and caught as survivor in about 40 seconds. Yeah, if you were to get looped by every survivor on this map for that long, you'd barely be able to wipe half a lobby. So it's pretty clear the big problem here is the killer gameplay against competent loopers. But if everyone in the lobby is around the same skill level, it will definitely be a great time to play on this map. All the areas are fun and the generators are nice and spread out, but one bad experience can slightly ruin this map. I actually really like Ultimate Assassin's Grounds. I think that is because it's relatively small. You have to try a bit harder as Survivor, and I'm completely okay with that. Since there isn't any definitive looping spots, you sort of have to get creative with where you plan to run, which is fun. I like all the different areas too, the caves, the houses, and the dojos. If I had to give a reason for why this map is still only number 4 on the list, it'd probably just be because the other maps are better, and if you get caught anywhere on the far right side of the map as a survivor, it's really hard to recover from. Let's move on to the top 3 maps now. Cool Carnival is another one of those maps that are small and creative, but also balancing the fun in the midst of everything. I really like the theme they went for, because navigating it feels like you're going through an abandoned circus. Aesthetics aside, the gameplay here is also very good. On the Survivor side, I'd say it's actually a bit harder to win. The size of the map and the fact that you have to work as a team more so than the other maps is definitely a fun challenge. As for the killers, well, the gameplay is just about the same as usual, nothing crazy going on. Now, it's time to see the top 2 maps. I actually used to not like Underground War when it came out with 2x rework update. And if I said that to myself present day, I wouldn't be very happy, because this map has a ton going for it. Once again, I absolutely love how creative you can get with the looping spots on this map. You can basically do a new combinations of turns on a loop every single time you take it. As a killer, I really enjoy using the killer only doors to trick survivors. It's super fun to drop down on an unsuspecting survivor from above. The 2 elevations on this map make it somewhat tricky to win as a killer, but there are many strategies you can use to overcome this, like the killer-only pathways and blocking and zoning survivors. Overall, this map is fun for both sides and definitely one of the best and most creative maps in the whole game. People tend to say that the original is always the best, and I guess that's partly true. We got Yoros resting place in the number 1 spot, and Glass House is just rotting in last place right now. Yoros resting place is definitely taking the cake for most universally fun map in the game. Since the map is so big, survivors can get a lot more creativity and space to run different strategies and loops. Killers, on the other hand, can take advantage of the open spaces to rush down targets or zone survivors into difficult situations. I know a lot of people don't necessarily like the mansion on the hill or the cliff, so let me defend those two. The mansion can easily be worked around if you're playing any killer but Jason. Just use your abilities to zone and you can effectively stop the loop. Only more experienced players know about the strength of this loop though. The cliff is actually more of a death sentence for survivors, so I'm not sure why people hate it as killer. The survivor takes slowness for falling off, so it should really only be like a last resort or something. Anyways, I love everything about this map, from the balancing to the design and the gameplay and the music. Hate on Yoros all you want in the comments, but I won't budge. Yoros resting place is the best map in Roblox Forsaken. And with that, thank you all for watching. Let me know what you'd like to see me rank next.